European electricity mix by country. So how the countries get their energy. Um, in this dark-ish thing, we see fossil fuels, so completely outdated and environmentally killing stuff. And then in this blue, we got conventional hydro. And then in this orange, we got nuclear. And we already see France powering a lot with that. Also Hungary and Ukraine, okay? And then we got renewables in this white stuff. And Luxembourg and Denmark, it's like 75 and 80%. That's huge. Oh my god. That's wow. That's pretty good. And we already see that it is in many countries still horrible. Fossil fuel is like obviously the worst by far, and it's still the most in a lot of places, like Russia, where there is almost no renewables. Same with Belarus, Poland, a lot of the Balkan, but the Balkan uses a lot of hydrogen, especially Albania, almost 100%. Oh my god, Malta, okay, using so much of that fossil fuel. And then the further west and north we go, it seems like the more green it gets, especially like in countries like Spain, Portugal, and Scandinavia. UK has more than I thought, but the Netherlands is still very dirty. We need to really get rid of like especially fossil fuel, also nuclear, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Europe is still pretty good in comparison to the rest of the world. I think, I don't know. When will countries reach their peak population? We go from brown to the very dark blue, and we already see in Europe it's reached their peak like 30 years ago. And like Germany also has reached their peak. I think every country except like the Nordics, France, Belgium, Switzerland, and the UK and the Irish, everybody else already had their peak and will now go down. And then in the rest of the world it will rise for the next few decades. Latin America will slow but surely also reach their peak. A lot of with the Middle East, China, I think they reached already their peak. Wasn't it like in the news some month ago that their population even begins to fall? Japan has reached their peak. And then a lot of Africa by 2100. Yeah. I mean, the population, I think it will spike at something like 10 billion and then will fall again. And especially countries like Italy will be heavily influenced by that. They will, I think it was in the next 60 years, they will lose like half of their population, go from I think 60 million to 30 million, which will be devastating. But yeah, most of Europe already begins to fall. But I mean, it's not too bad. If it slowly decreases, that's not such a problem. Where are the most prisoners in the world per 100,000 inhabitants? And the elephant in the room is obviously the US, with 629 being in prison out of 100,000. Jeez, 0.6% is in prison of that country. And then also very high Rwanda, Turkmenistan, Salvador, Cuba, okay. Palau, Virgin Islands. I wonder why. Panama, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Grenada. That's very interesting. And then Delhi, San Marino with 0 prisoners. I mean, yeah, well, why should you do a crime in San Marino? Such a beautiful place. Also very low. The car, Denmark stuff, Gambia, Congo, Iceland. Yeah, I expected Iceland. And Europe is pretty weirdly divided. Like, Western Europe is higher than the middle, and much higher is the Central and East. And then the really East is super high. That's weird. The Balkans is as always a mess, so we don't know what is happening there. Africa is lower than I thought. I thought Africa would be like very high, but it's actually one of the lowest continents. And South America is really high. Which category is Germany in? 50 to 100. Yeah, that's still okay, but can get better. How young can children be sent to prison across the world? Australia is at 10. You can get a 10 to prison, and minimum age recommended by the UN is 14. Yeah, I can see that. That's reasonable to me. But like 10, and the US with 7 of that 8. No, it's 7. Same with like India and a lot of Africa, especially in the former British Empire. It's super low. We in Germany have I think 14, and same with a lot of Asia and Europe. But I think everything under 14 is just way too young. I don't think that's too helpful if you do one crime with like 9 and then gets into prison. Oh my god, guys. Look at that beauty of a map. It's so wonderful. That's a map that was found in a Norwegian geography book from 1980. I think I can draw that better with my hand than that. I mean, who made that? That's so bad. Oh my god. Just look at Florida and Mexico. Okay, maybe I can't draw it better with my hand. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. Yeah, okay. I probably need to shut my mouth. Let's move on to the next one. Countries where it's illegal to spank, I never heard of that word, and smack your children. So where's a law that actually has it's illegal. It's already very, very disappointing to see that it's not banned in almost all countries. In all of these countries, it's allowed. Even Canada, England, it's allowed in England to smack your children. I mean, probably no one does that there, but still, if they do, they can't get punished for that. Why don't have Italy and England? Also, okay, I can see the US. You are already weird with your gun laws, but then also Canada. Come on, guys, that's such a bad performance of you. You think it shouldn't be punishable to smack your children? Interesting. How do countries call gasoline or petroleum? In red we have petrol, so petroleum, I think. Yeah, that's like a very British thing, I feel like, and as we see, most of the former British Empire used that. Then gasoline is like used in some of the Western Hemisphere, all of North America and Iberia. And then in the yellow stuff we have benzene. In Germany we call it benzene, and that is used in almost all of Europe and a lot of Asia. Then we also have essence. Okay, it's just stuff in France. Also basically the former French stuff. And then in green they have their own words. So in China, Myanmar, North Korea, and Somalia. And then naphtha. What? Naphtha. Okay. We have that literally only in Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay. And I took that map in because I know that you guys like bright colors randomly on the map sprinkled. US state population equal to European countries. So in red we have Germany, which is almost like half of the US. From California to Kansas out to North Dakota and Washington. Germany has 2023, I think 84 million, around that. And I can see like California is the only one really populated, the rest is like desert or farmland. Then in blue we got the UK with I think around 60 million. In yellow we got France with same like 60 million. Then Italy with I think they have 50 million. And then Spain with also 50 million. It just shows how the major economies and major players in Europe, you need to combine 5 of them to get even a population of the US. It's just crazy. I want to see that with China. Like one state, all of Europe. Topographic map of North America. We see the Rocky Mountains stretching through the entire east side of the continent. Then the Appalachians. I really don't know how to pronounce them. These mountains here, you know how to call them. That stuff over here, which is really not populated that much, can't really be populated because there are just hills. And over here, like the New England stuff and Florida, deep south, and then stuff around the Great Lakes is really, really flat. So perfect for population. And Mexico is basically also just a huge mountain. Ooh, that's some progress. Chinese high-speed railways 2008 compared to 2020. And what a upgrade. So in 2008 we have it looks basically like the US. And only 12 years later, it looks like it has more high-speed railways than the entire world together. I don't think Europe has even that many high-speed railways. I mean, I can see why their GDP is just so skyrocketing. The dominant religions in Germany. In green we have Catholic, a lot of Bavaria, the south and the west. In this purple we have Protestant, sprinkled all over the country, especially in the north and some of the south. And then in dark grey we have no confession. And you can still see the East-West divide as always. In East Germany, the religion stuff wasn't handled too friendly, to say that. And that weird borders over here is like still the remaining of this 30 years war, which is really one generation of war for what is the right fate and that BS. I thought there would be more Protestant than Catholics, but it looks like there are more Catholics. In my region, there are almost no Catholics. Like 1 in 10 people is Catholic or something like that. Xbox or PlayStation. The decade-old war. And we already see the PS5 is pretty much kicking the ass of the Xbox. Almost everywhere the PS is dominating, except in US, China, Afghanistan, and Mexico. Okay. And the PS has almost twice as much units sold as the Xbox, with the PS having a market share of 63.67% and the Xbox one with 35.68%. Yeah, I really don't like Xbox. I think like the PS really feels way more comfortable, and I also don't like the controller. And again, a topography map, but this time with Mongolia, with their beautiful flag colors. It's literally nowhere really flat. It's all mountainous stuff, especially in the east and some of the north. I think over here you can't really live, right? But that stuff over here, like to China, looks more habitable. Countries which are transcontinental and which are not. So countries that have territories or stuff outside of their mainland continent. And we see most of them are not transcontinental, because why would you? That's pretty rare. We have the US with all their territories like the Pacific. Many of the old colonial overlords like Spain, France, UK. Turkey with Constantinople, Istanbul. I'm sorry. Kazakhstan. Yeah, okay, but basically that part belongs to Europe. Yeah, okay. Russia, yes, I can see that. Georgia is interesting. I think they, it's like, yeah, some of the south technically belongs to Asia, but I mean, come on, that's like, I feel like Georgia is pretty much all Europe, but that's debatable. Denmark, probably with Greenland. Egypt with the peninsula, Sinai Peninsula. Cyprus? Why is Cyprus transcontinental? And Indonesia with, yeah, some stuff in Oceania. All mass shootings in the US from 2009 to 2023. The bigger the dots, the more death. And that's really, 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 really sad. I mean, I know, guys, you love your Second Amendment stuff, but I mean, come on. Especially like the completely corrupt Republicans. I really hate them. Please don't get offended if you like them. I'm just saying, but in a part, everyone who's like, yeah, everyone has like machine guns, shotguns, everything, grenades, is also a part responsible. It's hard reality, but everyone is a little bit also responsible for these dead children, for these dead 10-year-olds. Just because every idiot can get a weapon. And that's so sad. I can understand that everyone has the right to arm themselves. I know what the idea is of as also the founding fathers behind the Second Amendment. But it isn't really fitting the time anymore. That needs to get regulated. So that don't some idiots or terrorists get these weapons. I really hope that they just reform that. I myself think weapons are stupid. But if you want to have a weapon, have one. But then you really should firstly go through some checks and not like, yeah, have it, buy, have fun with it. That's the problem. Not the guns are the problem. The owners are the problem. And then guys like the NRA, which there's so much evidence that they are so corrupt with these shitty Republicans. It's really crazy that you still allow that to happen. Which countries have been female-led since 1946? It excludes monarchs. And that's also, again, very few countries that actually did that. Most of the world, they actually only had one. A lot of them only have one, some have two, some three, very few four. Who actually have four? Finland has four, and 5 Switzerland. But doesn't Switzerland have like 6 head of state at the same time? I mean, they have no real head of state, but 6 people are in charge. I think that's understandable that they have already 5 females. Disparities in the European Union. So which regions are more developed than others? This very light yellow we have which are very developed, most developed. Then orange transition regions. So it's going through the transition. And then red we have less developed, so pretty low. And almost all of the Visegrad regions, almost all of Greece, Romania, and Bulgaria, a lot of Spain, and almost all of Portugal. Okay, what? Belgium has so one region, and France. Why is France so low? I expected the south of Italy, but France almost everywhere except like Paris and that stuff is orange. Okay, Germany you can call it right. East-west divide, and the Nordics being as always pretty good. No, Finland also not that many very bright regions. I think like the best are like Austria and the Netherlands. Also randomly one region in Lithuania. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. You can click on the next video. It will be a similar reaction. Have a great day. Bye.